It's hard to find anything perfect in nature. Even the things that look perfect, they're shaped by time, by pressure, by staying still. When you live this far from everything else, there's nothing to distract you. Life turns inward. And over time, something quiet takes shape. Forms slowly, in isolation, on nature's terms.
My name is Tavai. I'm a third-generation pearl farmer here at Kamoka Pearl. My grandfather started this farm in 1991, and my dad came on, and now I'm third generation coming in. Yeah, so we're here on the Atoll of Atoll, which is arguably one of the most remote places on Earth. Thousands and thousands of miles from any major landmass. Being this remote, there's no hospital, right? There's no grocery store. It's very DIY. Like, if you have a problem, you got to figure it out. You know, there's nobody you can call. Being out here really gets you in tuned with figuring it out, thinking for yourself, you know?
My name's Josh Humbert, and I'm a second generation pearl farmer here at Kamoka. My father, Patrick, started the business. I came to join him a year after its inception. People don't understand how vast the Pacific is because it's not represented accurately on maps. If you see where we live from space, you see nothing but ocean. Anyway, we're a long ways from anything. There are consequences to the remoteness. Just over a year ago now, November 2024, at the end of the month, I got bit by a shark. Got my leg. We were spearfishing, and I came up from a dive, and the shark came straight up on me and grabbed my leg. There was a lot of blood loss, so we put a tourniquet on it straight away. We didn't know if an artery had been cut or whatever. We just knew that there was just blood everywhere. It put me in such a degree of pain that I kept wanting to black out, and I was hyperventilating. I had to, work on my breathing and try to drop my heart rate. To get off the atoll, what I'd do is we had to boat half an hour to the village, and then a plane had to be sent in from Tahiti. Once I got to Tahiti, there was no operating room available for another 24 hours. So the operation actually didn't happen until 10 o'clock the following evening. It was a great example of being remote is cool and all, but sometimes it's tough.
It really puts it into perspective on how careful you have to be. You don't take as many risks as you would when you know there's help nearby.
Do you prefer being isolated here in nature?
What do you mean isolated? I breathe fresh air, I have good food, and there's no stress. Living in a town is madness.
It's isolated, but it's not lonely. Like, I've never felt lonely here. Like, we're just too busy to be lonely. Like, we're farmers, Anyone who's ever farmed anything knows that you don't have time to be lonely. Like, you've got shit to do.
So right now we're just coming out here to grab first graft oysters. So these are oysters that haven't produced a pearl yet. So we're gonna go down, grab them, bring them back to the farm, and then start the first grafting process. So these are for the first graft operation. So these are all virgin oysters that have not produced a pearl yet. So we're bringing them in here to perform the first seeding process. Right now what he's doing is he's going into the oyster and he's just checking on the oyster quality. So this black stuff is gonna get cut like that, and it's gonna be like a little strip, and then it'll get cut into little pieces, and that'll get put into another oyster alongside a nucleus. And the cells from this mantle tissue is gonna start the activation of the pearl creation. So it's basically like the pearl that is gonna get created is gonna be used with the genetics of this oyster. So once the first graft operation is done, you put the oysters back into the ocean for about a year, and then you pull them back out, and then you harvest the pearl. Today's harvest day. These oysters, we've been taking care of them for 4 years now, and today's finally the day that we're taking the pearls out. So we'll see if we did a good job over these last 4 years. I'm in the high fidelity first class traveling section. I think I need a lift jet.
To make our pearls, like it takes a lot of hands. It starts with my father, myself, my son, but then there's Davey the powerhouse. Like I talked about my dad being the motor, but Davey's the motor on the work front. There's Ainui, there's JR. We have like a kind of a constant stream of volunteers or interns or whatever. We have people who come and spend time with us. Beyond the farm, there's my wife Celeste, who handles all of the back end stuff of the website, the jewelry design. Beyond Tahiti, there's Kelsey and Shimani that are at our fulfillment and jewelry building. And we all work together, and we all talk, and we're all friends, and it's the single-minded effort of all these different people that are responsible for what Kamoka is.
Oh, I first arrived here in 1972, for the first time, yeah. We produced quite a bit of pearl, At one time, there was more than 20 or 25 people working on the farm.
At the time, the pearl industry was booming like crazy. But what had happened is the whole industry became saturated. So there's too many pearls being produced, which caused the price to tank pretty much. We got to a point where we just had one employee, but we went from like 20 plus to one. For the last 20 years, it's just been like struggling to stay afloat and not face the fate of pretty much 90% of other pearl farms that were abandoned. Like there's many years where we just didn't produce pearls at all. I kind of thought to myself, like I'm just gonna go all in on this. Like I don't know anything about business. I don't know where to go, but I'm just gonna Google how to build a business or whatever, And I started watching videos, started listening to podcasts, and I was like, okay, it's like the social media thing, like that's where it needs to go. And the first video I posted, I remember we got about 100,000 views on it. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, like this is what we need to do. We're finally able to rebuild the farm. We're able to have more people come out. Now we have 4 full-time employees. We're slowly growing the team.
What Tevai succeeded in making a video that we are now able to sell pearls on the internet, which wasn't possible 20 years ago. And that makes a huge difference. Because now we can produce just about as many pearls as we want and sell them at a decent price. And before we had to produce a lot of pearls, just to break even because of the cost of running the farm and the cost of labor and the cost of everything. So now it's a different game.
Is it nice having a generational business with all 3 of you? You have different forms of knowledge.
So it's pretty much complementary. It doesn't mean there's no friction.
So being a 3-generation business, it's it's amazing. I have this situation where I have to spend time with my father. I have to spend time with my son. That's a beautiful thing. And it can be a hard thing too, obviously. My dad and I, we've over the years we've had a pretty rocky relationship. We butt heads a lot. He's really headstrong. So am I. Specific ideas on how things should work, and I do as well. And I think that's true for my son Tevai as well. But at the same time, we all respect each other.
It's kind of like being on a sailboat, like a really big sailboat in a way, because like we all live together in this community. We're forced to deal with our problems, right? Like if someone has a problem with someone, like you have to deal with it. You can't just run off and forget about it or whatever. It's going to grow into resentment and eventually blow up. So like the other day, for example, like Patrick and Davey, like they had a shouting match with each other. They got for hours, they were just going at it. And, Davey and Patrick, like both of them, sometimes they would get tired of it and then they'd walk away, but then they realized that like they can't really go anywhere. So then they'd come back and then they'd start shouting again. It ends in everyone like hugging each other. That happens all the time. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to have to face those things, but I think it's a very healthy thing. We're supposed to be in these tight communities and get our frustrations out, but then, come back even stronger at the end of the day.
Saying that when you look directly into the sun, you receive the energy that you see around the sun. I didn't fully understand what you said, but that's kind of what I got from it.
So this is the bridge to walk out to the farm. Back in the day, we actually didn't even have a bridge like this, and we had to swim to land every time or take a little boat. The deep part of this bridge was kind of engineered by Grandpa Patrick. These big piers that go all the way down to about 40 feet or so. It's definitely broken before. This is about our 3rd generation of bridge. We have land dogs, but we also have sea dogs here. They kind of just hang out, and whenever we're cleaning fish, they'll kind of just take care of all the scraps.
Wow.
This is kind of just like the hangout table, drink coffee, whatever. Fruit pantry. We have lemons from the garden. These are our cucumbers from the garden. We have our freezer. This is all solar powered. This is where old man Patrick sleeps. We got a lot of little tinkering stuff with pearls here. Yeah, this is kind of where we just work with pearls and like make little things, like very crafty space. We're gonna have to just do this. So this is our drinking water tank. The whole roof is collecting water and it all comes down here into the tank. The water comes through there and it goes under the farm all the way out into the kitchen area. So then that's where we have our drinkable water. So this is kind of like the living room slash like kitchen area where we all eat here. We got Patrick making a little dish here. Yeah, so this is the office where we get all of our computer stuff done. Throughout the day, we have a lot of pearl farming stuff to do, but we also have a business to run. There's constant management on the farm side, but then also on the online e-commerce side. It's a good creative spot, and it's also right next to the internet where you can plug in all of our stuff here. So this is just like the perfect spot for just content creation. It's also, we can sleep up here, we can hang out on the roof. One of the best spots ever to hang out at night because the night sky here has zero light pollution. So we're on land here. Most of our time is spent on the pearl farm, but here we actually own a large portion of the property. So this is Jules. We've had him since he was a little puppy. And then this is Leenda. She's got some cool looking eyes. She's the sweetest dog ever, but these are our pearl farm dogs. He does that every time. I don't really know why, but he has an obsession with grabbing rocks out of the water and then putting them on land. So this is a car that we had brought here to basically help pull that big catamaran out onto land. And we used it successfully, and then, you know, it's a car, so it's like, what are we gonna do with a car here? It accidentally burned down one day. This is the old man's workshop. This is where he likes to design all of his different machines. He likes to work on a bunch of different magnetic motor projects. He's very, very big into magnets and trying to figure out how to invent like the new thing. Spends a lot of time researching and tries to kind of defy science in a way. And he's been somewhat successful so far. So this is one of our oldest bungalows. Again, we've been here since 1991. There was a time where we had over 20 people living here full time. And all of our bungalows like this one had people in it, but it's just been breaking down over time, and we just haven't had the resources to keep up with maintenance with everything. Here's a good example of victim to time. This is one of 4 beehives we have here on the atoll. They are mostly fed coconut, and then this other plant called noni. Between 4 hives, like, we're able to keep a full stock of honey just for ourselves. Like, we don't sell it or anything, it's just for personal consumption. So this is the start of our garden. This is a fig tree that we planted. It's pretty successful. We got a few figs here. So this tree is a moringa tree. It's really good in salads, and it's one of the most nutrient dense things you can eat. So this helps us a lot because being here on an atoll, there's a lack of certain nutrients. So over time, you can become deficient in certain things. So it's really important for us to try to supplement with stuff like this. More figs right here. We actually got a ripe one right now. How's that? Perfect. Again, we are on a coral atoll here. We don't have a lot of soil to work with. So we are forced to kind of create our own with just compost, really. So this is one of the most efficient ways for us to create soil. This is all just ground coconut husk. So you see it holds in that moisture really well. You go down deep like that, you got that good stuff right there. And then that slowly turns more and more into soil over time. We grow a lot of our own food out here. Most of what we eat is fish, rice, and then a salad. So 2/3 of what we eat comes from here. So we grow our own stuff, we fish our own fish. Yeah, stuff grows pretty well out here as long as we keep up with soil production.
Here on a coral atoll, you're sitting on a reef. You're sitting on nothing but coral. Like you can look around, you're not going to find a proper rock anywhere. The atoll ecology is really interesting in that all the plants they're able to survive because there's fresh water. But there's only fresh water where there's land. So basically, what you have is this lens of fresh water that floats on the tide because all the coral is permeable. It rains, and then the rain accumulates where there's land, and then you have this lens that goes up at high tide and down at low tide. What the ancient Polynesians did for agriculture is they built trenches. They'd fill the bottom of the trench with whatever organic matter they could get their hands on. Basically, at high tide, the water table would come up and it would water the bottom of the trenches. and then at low tide it'd drop back down and it would dry again. And so basically what you had is this perfect watering system before we knew about these trenches. It was actually my dad again who had read about that or had heard from the elders. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's just like a lot of the basic necessities of our life we get from the things that grow around us.
What sets Kamoka apart from other farming techniques, other farms, other pearl farms?
What sets us apart is more, I'd say, intentionality than anything else. We're trying to leave the lagoon in a better state than what we found it. We clean our oysters with the fish, and what that's done over the years is it's fostered just incredible abundance around our farm. It's possible to clean oysters in a much faster way, blasting them with water pressure hoses, and what that does is it knocks off all the fouling, and the fouling goes straight back into the lagoon. The way we do it is it's slower, but the species are basically consumed by the fish, and so the fish populations get stronger, and everything just maintains its balance.
My dad was able to really pioneer the sustainability aspect of it. Our system of working alongside the marine ecosystem. Like anytime there's been temptations to go a more efficient but dirty way, he's always been like, no, like we're going. This is the direction we're going. Like we're not doing that. We're gonna do things right. I really appreciate that side of him, because he's really steered the boat in that direction. I think regenerative farming is the way of the future, whether it's pearls, whether it's agriculture, these new green ways of doing things. A lot of people, they kind of shy away from them because they see them as inefficient. What's very exciting about our system is that we've proven that it actually reduces your labor cost by 50%. So it actually works in your favor financially to work with the marine ecosystem.
I appreciate the opportunity to tell this story because we want everyone to do this. Like this is open source. Like we're not gatekeeping anything. We want everyone to be working the way that we're working because a rising tide floats all ships.
Because of how remote we are, when people come out here, they fully detach from everything, like their entire reality. It really makes you just go back to your foundation as a human. I start to appreciate the little things a lot more. I become much more motivated, much more just like I feel more real, I guess, when I'm out here, right?
Yeah, I had 2 years ago. I had terminal stage cancer. Yeah. It was terminal case. I quit eating carbs and sugar. Because cancer cells thrive on sugar.
A year later, it was all gone except for like 2 little tumors in his back. He's now pretty much cancer-free, and he has way more energy than he did a little over a year ago.
Our body is creating perfection. You cannot create anything better than the human body. The sign of spiritual evolution is happiness, joy, gratitude, and all the rest of it, all the complicated yoga shit. Most of it, it's money making, new fashion. Oh no, Christian is not good. But Buddhism is Christian Buddhism is the same shit.
A lot of humanity has lost its connection to the wild. The modern day mentality is seeing nature as something to be exploited and not necessarily worked alongside, The vision for the future of Kamoka is to continue with these regenerative practices. We want to try and innovate on what we've already done and make it even better. Our plan is to continue telling these stories and hopefully reach the most amount of people as possible. We can influence certain farms to maybe change their ways of doing things. Kamoka represents nature, it represents family, and it's a labor of love from our hands to yours.